there's a lot of value in this episode and with these individuals. And I promise if you go through and watch the whole thing, listen to them intently, compare it to your own life, your own journey, where you are at, where you've been, where you're wanting to go, you will get some insight on what steps you need to take next and just take them because that's the only way you're going to achieve the dream life and goals that you profess you want. Guys, thanks for all the love and support again. We're just getting started. And yeah, much love. But without further ado, here is Luigi and Sophia. Thank you all.
You know, they used to call me Luigi Trump, which is the funny thing, is because I was trying to make money off everything. And they used to compare that to Donald Trump, which said is our president,
How
right?
old were you when you were doing that?
So 8 years old, 9 years old, 10, 11, 12, all the way through, man. I would sell anything and everything, bro. And that got, my entrepreneur spirit started early on. I always felt that I didn't, work well within, the restraints of a job, of a boss. And even though we all had to learn our experiences, I worked in hotels, I did hospitality, I ended up working, in title companies, which is really where I got into real estate. That's really what I learned about real estate. But in essence, I never felt like I like to work under authority. I know that sounds crazy, but I always like to just create my own way. So as soon as I could create, my own way, I definitely did. I had some really, really cool jobs growing up. I can't, complain because, everything that I took on, I believe that God allowed me to excel. So I always became the manager of the department and I always got the most money and I got the raises. Literally, I was always favored by God in every area and everything that I did. But it wasn't until about 2005 that I jumped and took the leap of faith and saying, you know what, I want to become my own entrepreneur. I want to become my own man. I want to, run my own, hours and create my own income. And in that era, around 2004, 2005, the real estate market was booming. And I jumped in as a loan officer. And I started, trying to be a mortgage broker and learning those ways. And literally within my first 2 weeks, I remember I made like $7,000 in commissions. And that was almost like two times what I was making at my previous job. So I was like, hold on.
What were
I
you doing
could,
before?
I was working at a publishing company called Ocean Drive Magazine. It was the magazine, and I was actually the collections manager. So accounts receivable is what I was doing, and I did that for a long time prior to that as well. But when I went into the real estate game, when I went into becoming a loan officer, I saw, how you can capitalize a lot, quicker by having the gift of blab, the gift of sales, right?
Yeah.
And that's really where I just started to fall more and more in love with it because it became a challenge. It's okay. So if I can make 7,000 this week, I want to make 15,000 next week. And early on, man, literally in 2005, I was already making 40, $50,000 months. And it's like that's really what started my journey in entrepreneurship. From then, I started investing heavily in real estate. Did very, very well until the collapse of 2008, 2009, where, to be honest with you, I gained it all. I got married around that time, bought house for my mom, bought a house for ourselves. We had investment properties, and then we literally lost it all. I had to declare bankruptcy, and I literally went to from hero to zero, right? But I'm just so thankful for the relentless spirit that I have. That God always just gave me faith. I was never in fear. I was never in doubt. It was just a process I had to go through at that time. And at that time, my wife was graduating architecture school. So I felt that we had already the experience as business owners. I was like, let's just create our own brand. Let's create our own firm and let's go at it, and hit it hard with a lot of faith. And early on, God gave us just a lot of favor. I had incredible projects lined up. My wife and I were already doing multi-million dollar, projects starting our firm, where we were kids. We were literally kids, I was in my early 20s, and while my wife was in her early 20s, I was just about 30 years old. But we started something that was really new, but in a way with a lot of faith, and God just excelled us. And at that same time, I went to a conference where I learned about solar. So in 2005, 2006, I believe, we went to a conference in New Orleans, which was an AI conference, an architecture and interior design conference. And they were talking about green design and green builds. And I took a little, course on it, and I'm like, man, I need to figure out a way that we can apply this to our business because it was really early on. But my wife and I had a passion for it, and we created PG Homes back then, which was creating green homes out of prefab concrete panels, adding solar panels, and they were completely net zero. We were again very, very early on. I think like ahead of our time, right? Because most people were calling me the tree hugger guy, the crazy guy, because solar didn't have any financing back then. So if I was going to offer you a system, imagine it was like $7.80 a watt. All right. So you were paying $80,000 for a 10 kW system, which is ridiculous, right? So, but I was even then, selling at that price point, we were successful because we were always hitting the luxury market. But that's needless to say, that's what started, my whole sales journey. From then, built multiple, seven-figure business when it comes to solar, building teams all across the nation. At some point, at one point we had 1,200 people selling solar with a company named Power that I'm also part of, and just extremely excited and honored by what that experience allowed us to do. It really took me into the journey of mentoring and teaching and helping others achieve the same success that I was achieving, and that's really where I believe my purpose lies. My purpose lies in just giving back and being a blessing and mentoring and guiding. And that's what I love to do right now. As we were just speaking, I'm creating my course right now. I'm creating my coaching program, which is going to come out soon. But it's really now I'm in a position that I just want to give back wisdom, give back knowledge, give back guidance, and teach people how to achieve the life of their dreams. As you guys can see behind me, I have my dream cars. I'm living my dream life. I have an incredible family. I have health. I have wealth. I'm really living my best life. And now I'm living a purpose-driven life to literally just feed into other people and help other people achieve great success.
That's amazing. It sounds like God's been very good
Yes.
to you in your life.
Blessed and highly favored, man.
And I think it's amazing that you've been put in some hard scenarios. I mean, going completely broke in 2008, being able to flip that around to
And
what you have now.
that was one of the greatest things that could ever happen to us. I really believe that financial literacy is so important for you to really, maintain wealth. Because even though in 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, it was the gold mine. I always tell people, if you've seen the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, we were living like that. I mean, it was crazy, but we did not have financial literacy. It's a boy from the hood that was able to achieve fast success and really didn't know how to sustain it. And the whole economy collapsed and everything happened. I can blame it on that, and that is really the grand majority of it. But I really believe that had I had financial literacy and more wisdom, I would have been able to put myself in a different position. But looking back, that was the best thing that could have happened to me because it allowed us to really start from zero, but start from zero in a right way. That's right around the same time that I connected with Bob Proctor, and he became my personal coach. I mean, we spent a lot of money that we didn't have to be able to have that wisdom bestowed upon us, and it changed our lives completely. Like I really tell people that Jesus Christ and Bob Proctor are the two biggest influences in my life because Jesus Christ taught me obviously how to walk in love, and Bob taught me how to apply the laws of life and to create prosperity and success for myself and for others. So again, that time in my life was the best time because it really pruned me to become the man that I am today. So I'm really, really just grateful for every moment.
Can you talk about time during that phase as well? Because obviously it was hard. I'm sure you had a lot of doubts.
Yeah.
Was there a time you almost quit? And can you walk us through just how that scenario was?
I think that, through life, we have to build resilience, and one of the things that early on in my life, I think that even as a young boy, we were resilient. I saw in my mom, her being resilient many times, just many changes that had happened, as we were growing up, that I just always had that fighting spirit in me, and I would never give up. At an early age, at 7 years old, I was able to see, a huge miracle happen in front of me where my brother was deaf and mute, and we went to a church service where a pastor by the name of Benny Hinn laid hands on him, and my brother passed out for like 2, 3 hours, but when he woke up, he was able to speak and hear. So to me, at 7 years old, all my desire was to is to understand what that man did, and I wanted to be just like that man. So early on, I started to learn the power of faith, the power of the spirit. So even through life, through all the challenges that that life threw at me, I always felt that God always had my back. So I was always a joyful person, even during times of depression, even of times of obscurity, even times where I thought that, man, God has forgotten about me. It was times that I knew that I was pruning, becoming someone better, edifying myself, and as I can see now, connecting the dots backward, that's exactly what was happening. Those moments of isolation, those moments of darkness, those moments that you want to quit, you want to give up. It's that's the moment that the character's being built. And once that character is being built, you can never go back to that old you, because now you've built that resilient spirit. So no matter what life throws at you, you can take it on, and you can take it on with faith and know that you'll be all right at the other side.
I think that's amazing that you learned that from just such a young age,
Yeah,
like
man.
the age of 7. You've been able to carry that through your whole life, and
100%.
I think those experiences you get a compound on
Yes.
them.
Yes.
They just keep stacking and stacking and stacking, and you can keep going on and building that proof for yourself to then go help other people,
Amen.
which is yeah, it's just amazing that you've been able to experience
That
that.
that's where I'm at right now, man. It's all about using your life experiences to give back and to help others. Me, I know I don't look like it, but I'm turning 47 next month, right?
Look amazing.
And I look at the age of wisdom, right? I can see back that when I turned 40, 41, 42, 43, everything changed for me. The way that I look at life, the way that I now see things, the way that I now relate to people, the way that I relate to my children, to my wife, to my business partners, everything's different just because I feel like I'm looking at life through a different lens. And that comes with time, that comes with maturity, that comes with wisdom. And in the book of Solomon, all he asked was for wisdom, and that wisdom allowed him to become the wealthiest man in history, right? But it's the most important thing to understand that wisdom is the key to success. And wisdom, you're going to gain it by obviously things that God can download upon you, but it's through your life experiences that you're going to gain this wisdom. And through that, now you can achieve the success and become that person that God called you to be.
And be able to make the impact that you want to make.
100%.
For you, when you were making that transition to real estate, because you're making, what did you say, 3,500 a month,
Right?
to then making 7 grand, to making multiple thousands of dollars within a
Man,
calendar month,
I
like
literally I went from making $40,000 a year to making $250,000 the following year. So it was a huge jump, but it's faith, and it's putting yourself in the right environments. Because some people keep themselves in a job that they hate, or they keep themselves in a place because they just want to be comfortable, or they don't want to step out and maybe face failure, right? And if you want to live a mediocre life, and you want to always I guess live in obscurity, right, and live in poverty, then you can continue to have that attitude, or you can just flip it and say, I'm going to walk in faith, and I'm going to literally, do things that I know that are in front of me, and I'm going to be the best that I can be at it. So every opportunity that God throws your way, it's your attitude on how I'm going to take on this challenge, right? So I didn't know nothing about real estate. I didn't know nothing about selling mortgages. I just knew that I had a couple of friends that were making a lot of money. I'm like, hold on, I want to learn how to do that. And I went in one day, and within a couple of weeks, I got a $7,000 check, and I was like, hold on, I could really do this and take this to another level. And I did. The next month I made, I think it was like 20 something thousand, and I was at 40,000. So it's to the point that, man, I believe that money is energy, and you can attract and multiply that energy if you have the right mindset, the right attitude, and the right vehicle. And the only way that you can get yourself in the right vehicle is being yourself in the right environment. And God will make that happen for you. You just got to keep yourself open to those opportunities, and you will see that it would happen for you.
I love that. And I mean, with you saying that your entire life perspective has changed when you hit 42, those ages that you've or those birthdays, I guess, that you've been hitting, uh, what would you like tell someone making that transition or thinking about making that transition into sales, into betting on themselves, to getting into an opportunity like real estate or something similar to it, that you wish you would have known at that age as well?
I mean, I'll tell you this, if you're on the fence as to if you want to jump into sales or if you want to jump into real estate or into some type of career like solar, or right now, as we know, the insurance industry is booming right now, right? And these are all high ticket sales. You will not become wealthy working a 9 to 5 job. You will not become wealthy working for somebody else. The number one skill that you need to learn is sales and marketing. If I can tell, my younger self what to focus on early on, would have been focus on sales and focus on learning marketing. Once you learn those traits, you'll be unstoppable because you can literally create as much income as you want. Because once you know how to sell and market, you can have any product given to you and you can sell it, you can market it, and you can literally monetize it. So if I was to just tell my younger self anything, was to definitely focus on that. And at the same time, because again we go back to me having that faithful spirit, right? You're gonna have challenges. You're gonna have many, many storms coming your way. And that's the breaking point of you either stepping forward into your destiny and living your best life or stepping back to mediocrity. So I tell people all the time, on the other side of that fear, on the other side of that, the what if is where you need to be. Because there's nothing worse than you literally going to your grave and having that what if mentality. What if I would have done this? And what if I would have done that? No, I want no regrets. I want to know that everything that God puts in my mind to do, I'm going to take action to do it. And whether I fail or I succeed, I'm going to learn a lesson and it's going to take me to another level. Period. There's no losing. There's only wins and there's lessons. That's it.
What would you tell someone right now who's thinking about the what if, thinking about making the jump, like to the camera?
Take the jump, take the leap of faith. I really believe that if you have a desire in your heart, if you have a dream, if you have a vision, it didn't come from you. It came from something bigger than you, from what I like to call God. You want to call it the universe, whatever it is. So the only way that you can achieve to become that ultimate person that you desire of being is taking that step, taking that leap of faith. God's going to give you many opportunities, but you have to take them on. You have to take them on with literally with a lot of desire and a lot of hunger, and you will see that God's going to feed and satisfy all the desires of your heart, but you must take that leap of faith.
Without action, there's no reward,
100%.
and God can't keep blessing you in your life. I absolutely love that. What if you had to do it all over again? Let's say all of this was just gone. What would you do tomorrow?
I would find a need and fulfill that need. What's the need right now that needs to be fulfilled? The biggest need, I'll always say that solar is a great way, just because I always think about being conscious, aware, right, of what's happening in our environment, what's happening to our world, and the true solution to, I believe that the biggest challenge that humanity is going to have and we are facing is the energy crisis and how we produce energy as the population keeps on growing and growing and growing. And now we have electric vehicles and now we have AI. That's more energy, more energy, more energy, more energy. And what people don't understand, what's the number one solution to that? Solar. So if I was to start all over again, I would go back and start in solar again because I still believe that's the number one choice for humanity, period. Whatever happens in politics, whatever happens in any of that has nothing to do with the solution to the problem. And when you have a huge problem like we have in the energy crisis we have in the world, and we know that the number one solution is solar, where do you want to be at? That's where I would be.
I love that, man. And for you, if we could talk a little bit about what you're currently doing now, like where the business is you're operating, what's your mission, vision, purpose, at what you're wanting to achieve in the next 5, 10 years.
So right now, we are running, PG Studio Architecture Interior Design, which is the firm that I just talked about that we started back in 2008 with the crisis, and God has blessed us immensely to do amazing things. We're right now doing projects, the Motor Enclave for those that are car enthusiasts. We're building out 20 plus units there. We do a lot of high-end real estate, high-end commercial, a lot of cool stuff with that. I'm still involved in solar and in training and guiding people in the solar game. And as you guys can see behind me, I got into the exotic car rental game as well. We have a concierge company here where whatever you need, we got you. Where it's jets, where it's the mansions, where it's the yachts, where it's the cars, whatever you need, we can provide that for you. So right now, I'm just having a lot of fun with all my businesses. But my mission right now is to impact 1 billion lives. Right now, that is my mission. My mission, I changed everything on my Instagram. That's my new mission right now. I want to impact 1 billion. That's going to be my main goal for the next 20, 30, 40 years, whatever long it takes me to impact 1 billion lives for the better through our coaching programs, through the retreats that we're going to start creating, through the seminars we're going to start doing, through joint ventures. I want to be able to give opportunities to everybody that's really hungry to desire for success. If that's you, hit us up, connect with us, because there's always opportunities, and things that we're working on. So again, man, that's what we do.
I love that. And yeah, thanks for having us here as well. I mean,
it's my great pleasure and honor, man.
I think this will impact a lot of people, people that are watching this, and honestly down the line as well.
Amen.
That can go through,
Amen.
Look at this, look at your journey, and just see it's possible. I mean, people settle for $3,500 a month. People also settle for $40,000 a month, right, with something that's not theirs. And it's fun to see the impact that you've been able to have on people within your inner circle, and yeah, having the future future impact that you'll be able to have.
Amen. One of the things that I like to say is that I'm grateful for everything that I have. I'm grateful for my family, grateful for my children, grateful for my businesses. I'm grateful for the success that God has bestowed upon me, but I will never be satisfied. Never. And out of dissatisfaction is where the greatest entrepreneurs are created. It's where you create the opportunities. It's where you literally create the connections. You have to understand that you always have to strive for more and more and more and more and more. And all I am right now is a vessel of God and being used to literally provide more and more value, to help more and more people. As we mentioned earlier, I'm going to have my coaching program that we're going to be putting out. I have a Discord community that I'm going to share that you mention it to your community as well. You guys connect with me. I'm here to literally just bless you guys as much as I can. And that's what life is all about, to understand that everything we receive is also to give back and to be a blessing. That's what I'm here to do. Impact 1 billion, baby. Let's go.
1 billion.
Let's get it, man.
If you were to, just to wrap this up, if you were to pass, let's just say, God, like obviously never want this to happen, but let's say you were to pass away tomorrow, what's one lesson that you would want to leave to everyone that you would want them to remember you by?
Wherever he walked, he left an impression of prosperity. He left an impression of greatness. He left an impression of success. He left an impression that you can be more and do more. And I just want to be a blessing. My motto is I am blessed to be a blessing. And that's what I want to live by.
Thank you, Luigi.
Thank you, my man. Appreciate you. Much love and God bless. Let's go.
Thank you for being on, Sophia.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited to hear about your story, and I think this is something that can impact a lot of people in this community and people that know you as well.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm excited to share it with you.
Yeah. If you could go a little bit into your background, just what were you doing before sales? What got you into it? And then what are you currently doing?
Yeah, for sure. So I pretty much have been in sales for as long as I could work. I started off, serving, doing that kind of role, and then really started my sales career when I started working in the beauty industry. I led a team of women, building clients, building their own brands and businesses, and that kind of kicked off into my passion for sales and seeing how I can help people and really give them that aha moment and give them confidence in growing their brand, growing their businesses. Then I transitioned into real estate, and I did that for a couple of years and still do that as well. And now I do online brand partnerships, and I'm a remote ticket closer as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's what prompted you to get into it in the first place? Like what was there a specific scenario, a specific person that pushed you towards it?
To be honest, I've always been someone who's driven to help people. I feel like my purpose is to help other people. I just didn't realize it when I first started doing it. So, just something as simple as serving or whatever, you're guiding people through whatever the menu, whatever you're doing, and you're making them laugh and entertaining and doing all these things. And then getting into, the beauty space, helping women build their brands, seeing them get that confidence and me being able to give it to them through coaching or through the clients that we're getting, being able to solve solutions for them, it just like really inspired me. And I'm like, man, this is exactly what I want to do.
No,
So,
that's perfect.
yeah.
I mean, that's got to be cool to see as you go through, help them, coach them. Do they get to see the results that you were directly a part of?
Yeah, yeah. And even going into, later on, just trying to build my own brand and my own business with it, and seeing that I can help and bring people value in all parts of their lives, whether it's business, finances, having more confidence. It brings me like super great joy to be able to do that.
So you're doing the coaching, like consulting for the branding before you got into real estate. Is that correct?
It was kind of around the same
Around the same
time.
time?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And that was, I guess, that specific industry, what like inspired you to get into that?
So within that, I was just transitioning. I was in college at the time, and I was transitioning, I was studying abroad, and I wanted to do something else that was more online based. Around that time too, like COVID started coming through, and everything became online, and it just really blew up. And being offered that opportunity to work within a business where I could work from my phone and be remote and do that was super appealing. And then diving deep into the business and learning like sales techniques and how to be able to do stuff and mentor people and guide people, that is kind of what set it off for me. So yeah, that was it. And then I transitioned into real estate, which was the transition between the two was being able to work for myself essentially, because I love being able to build teams and mentor people, but then being able to grow your own personal brand opened up a whole nother world for me. Yeah.
I mean, having your own personal brand is probably bigger, like more important than ever these days,
Yeah.
to be able to impact people in that way.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like learning those skill sets of being able to build a personal brand, to build teams, to coach, to do those things? How do you feel like that's impacted your life?
Oh, tremendously. I mean, if anything, it's shown me resilience. It showed me that you can always pivot and start something again and continue to grow. And, failure is good. It's a good thing. The more times you fail, the better. Just get back up and keep going. And it's really taught me to just kind of, keep yourself focused no matter what, even on the days that you're not motivated, and just continue with that discipline. And it's like same thing like going to the gym, like you're getting those reps in and, sooner or later something's about to hit. So I think that's important.
Was there ever a time that you like wanted to quit, to like stop doing sales, to stop doing the consulting, coaching, or?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there was a time where I ever really wanted to quit, but there was definitely times that felt a lot harder than others. And having to show up for yourself day in and day out is much different than just like clocking into like a 9 to 5 job and you're doing the same routine. You have to really stay disciplined and keep that motivation, because on the days you're not making the sales or the team's, not doing so well or you're not performing so well, you have to find that drive within you to remember like your purpose, your why you're even getting up every single day to do this. So there's definitely been like those heavier times, but just continuing to know that life comes in seasons. It's really kind of like a rule of thirds. You're going to have those really high highs. You're going to have those mediocre, like mid average, and then you're going to have those lows. But when you're low, just remember that high is like coming right back. So, yeah.
You just keep going with rolling with the punches, and keep going forward.
Exactly.
And I mean, you talked about remembering your purpose, your why you're doing those things. What would you feel like your purpose is, your why you do the things you do?
Yeah. So, like I said, I think my big purpose that I realized while going through my sales journey is wanting to help other people. Like, nothing makes me more excited. No amount of money, no amount of anything makes me feel more whole and like true within myself and with God than being able to help someone come out of something or giving them something that's going to potentially be life changing for them. So whether it's helping them build a business or change their mindset on something, I think everyone's kind of put here to help other people and in different ways. And I just feel like for me, like that is a huge thing for me.
Yeah. I love that. And with that, I guess, what are you hoping to accomplish like 5, 10, 20 years from now?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, my long-term goal is obviously to continue growing my own brand, having my own mentoring and consulting business, continue to grow within the sales space, and just really be able to impact thousands of lives. I really just want to take it as far as it can go.
I mean, with that, what do you want your average Tuesday to look like with that?
Crazy busy. I hate being bored. I hate not having a full plate. I run better. on that. Serving, if there's any servers out there, you guys know it's called being in the weeds. I love it. I love having so much to do. I love tackling a lot of stuff. And I feel like when you do what you love, it doesn't feel busy. It actually gives you more energy. And you're like, I got to do this, I got to do that. So, like, a typical Tuesday for me is definitely just going super hard.
I love that. And I mean, I guess right now for you on that path to try and achieve those goals, what do you feel like is working really well for you right now? And what do you feel like you're struggling with?
Well, so right now, just kind of going through like a rebrand, just being able to see what's working and what's not working. And 20, like this year was just like a long year for me, kind of like a little bit of a pivot and try to figure things out. I did a lot of traveling and just kind of trying to figure out what else do I want to do with my time and my purpose. So just getting all those ducks in a row is kind of like my biggest thing. And my biggest motivator is knowing that, when you're in those seasons of the medium or the low, like you're going to go right back up. Yeah.
I love that. And I guess what lessons have you learned over the past year trying to get the ducks in a row, trying to get everything figured out?
Yeah. So I've learned that you need to have good people in your life. You need to have good mentors. You need to continue to always be a student. You never need to stop learning. There's always something to learn. There's always just anything that you can get into. Spending a lot of time on YouTube, it's like your own university, like if you don't know something, ask questions. I always love asking questions. I love not being the smartest person in the room because that means that there's always something else to know. So just continually being curious.
I really like that. And I think nowadays it's really easy to get caught up in the day to day and not be curious, just to do the mundane things. I really, really like that.
Well, it's easy to kind of get stuck in that loop, or think that you are know everything about something and just not continue to ask questions. So I think that that's super important.
That's a really valuable lesson to learn. And for you, because how old are you now?
I'm 30.
30. Cool. And you got into sales back when?
Probably over like 6 years ago now.
6 years. Yeah. Okay. What do you wish you had told yourself back then, like getting into it?
Yeah, that's a good question. To not take the downtime so hard, to not take the seasons where you may not be making as much money so hard, and to evaluate it all and figure out, what can I fix, what can I improve on, and to allow yourself to go with the flow. No matter what it is, it's like a lot of us like to think like it's doomsday when something's not working out for you, and to just kind of learn from that experience and then come back 10 times better. So as like a new like person in sales and everything, you're learning and you're growing so much, and there's so much to learn, and just take every single day as an opportunity of like, okay, let's get back up and do this again. Yeah.
I love that because I think a lot of people are too hard on themselves.
Absolutely.
Started.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you want to be the top coach, you want to be the top salesperson, you want to be making the 7 figures, you want to be doing everything, and it's like you're gonna get there. Like if you don't stop, that's it. That's the only thing, is don't quit. Like the second you give up is the second that you're not gonna get there. But if you just keep pounding at the pavement every single day, like it's gonna happen. So.
Do you feel like these frameworks and mindsets, did you develop these over time, like through these different experiences, or do you feel like you grew up like with those?
So I've always had a pretty like optimistic outlook on life, and just kind of get going after like what you want. Like a little bit of background, I'm Albanian, so like my family moved here from Albania, and just watching them kind of face adversity and just kind of like go through their struggles, really taught me to be resilient and to know that you're just going to have to keep going. And then through my sales training, through meeting awesome people, listening to really good mentors, and, networking and doing that, you just learn little pieces along the way, and they kind of just stick with you. And reading, I think reading is so important. Like, get in on your books. If you don't like reading them, like listen to your audibles in the car. It just teaches you so much.
Like that little mix of both.
Yeah.
With the books, what's one book you'd recommend to anyone that's been most impactful on your life?
Oof. Well, recently I started reading Meditations for the second time by Marcus Aurelius. I believe being stoic in a lot of things that you do really helps you keep like a level plane, and allows you to detach from the situation. And I think a lot of times we let our emotions get involved, whether it's sales or in our personal lives. So kind of taking a step back and just realizing like, it's not that big of a deal, but it also is. And other people's actions and influence, doesn't directly influence you as much as you think that it does.
I like that. It's our situations and circumstances only have as much power as we give it.
Exactly.
Do you feel like you've always had like the stoic mindset, or do you feel like was there a specific scenario or experience that pushed you to learn more about stoicism and developing that?
So I think I definitely have gotten better with it over time. I think just going through like personal struggles in my life where it times could have felt more emotional for me, definitely a lot made me lean harder into the stoic mindset or into the taking a step back from my emotions because instead of recognizing it as something that was like a limitation, like, oh, I'm being too emotional or, I'm having a limiting belief on something. I hate playing like the victimhood mentality. So it's like you have 3 days to cry about it and then you need to get over it and
That's a
just
pretty good
start
rule.
to and just start doing what you need to do. And don't get me wrong, like we've all had way longer than 3 days to, sit in our victimhood, but to not stay in it for so long, I definitely developed that over time.
It definitely hurts you more than does any good.
Yeah, because it's like the longer you take to like be like, oh man, this situation sucked or this was really hard for me, the longer it's going to take for you to just kind of go back to being you and remembering who you are and like what value you bring to this world because we all have value to bring. And, it doesn't matter the circumstance that you're put in as long as you're able to push through it and like do the best that you can. Yeah.
Just to wrap it up, what's one thing or one lesson you would tell the audience that's been the most impactful on your life that you like want to leave with them, just to contemplate and think about on implementing in their own lives?
Yeah, I guess I would definitely go back to always continue to be a student and pivot in any situation that may not be working for you. See it as a lesson always. I think that that's super important to just continue to grow and just not think that you're stuck where you're at because you can always do better and you can always do more no matter where you are.
Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Luigi. Thank you, Sophia. This has been a pleasure, and I think this will reach a lot of people and impact a lot of lives to be able to see your guys' stories through faith, through all the experiences that you guys have been able to learn from, to show people it's possible. It's possible to go from doing a 9 to 5 to just living like a normal person, to getting into sales, creating a life of freedom, to travel wherever you want, to building the dream life where you get, just like we were talking about, spend time with your kids, drive the cars you want, have whatever you want, be able to make the impact, like you guys are both saying, to help as many people as you want.
That's it. That's what it's about.
So yeah, thank you guys for being on and sharing your
Thanks
stories.
for having us.
So we're gonna ask both of you a couple questions, just to see the different responses. Sophia will answer first, and then we'll go to Luigi, and then we'll finish it off with you asking some questions to Luigi. That should be good. So the first question is, what is one rule you guys live by that someone should steal from you today and implement, and why?
Oh, that's a good one. I guess for me is just always focus on your discipline over your motivation because you're not going to wake up every day. You're not going to wake up most days motivated. So continue to focus on that goal that you set and make that your driver instead of how tired you are or how mad you are that day or how things are not going well. So just stay disciplined.
For myself, I definitely have to say something that I stand by and I teach everybody in my community is that how you do anything is how you do everything, straight up. And that's something that we have to, and it's a good gauge for our own selves, for us to understand, am I really half-assing this? If I'm half-assing this right here, I'm probably half-assing a lot of things in my life. But if I'm going all out and all in, and I can gauge myself, am I doing that in every other area of my life? Like, it's that's to me is the key to life. And if you can understand that how you do anything is how you do everything, and how that can progress you or digress, right? So you can actually understand that, man, I'm lazy, I'm not doing, a half of what I know that I should do, and let me push myself. So that's a reminder to me every single day. How you do anything is how you do everything.
I mean, that can be really tiring too. Like, with that, you need the discipline
100%.
to do that every single day.
100%.
Because you will be tempted at times to probably be burnt out. And
Well, I mean, there's always a time for rest, right? Even in my favorite book, it said that the seventh day, right? God rested, right? So there's always a time for rest. But as it also says, in your youthful days, while we have the energy and we can still strive and we can still go for it, go for it. There'll be time where you can actually let go, let God, and let things happen, because now you have what? Kids, you have grandkids, you have other generations that are literally hopefully taking on the baton, right? But right now in this age, we need to go at it wholeheartedly, 100%, full drive. There's no time for rest. There's
Yeah,
resting
go hard.
later, 100%.
And there's discipline in rest too, you know? You have to be able to make sure you realize when you're going too hard and when you need to take a step back, because that reset allows you to go even harder and stay more focused when you
One
go back
hundred
from it.
percent. Hey man, I don't I try not to work on weekends. Like for me, everybody says like Luigi. No, listen, Saturday and Sundays are for me, for my family, for my time. Now there may be a car show or one of the things that we may do on a Saturday or whatever, but apart from that, like yo, weekends are for me. Weekends are for my family. Monday through Friday, let's hustle, let's grind, let's do whatever we have to do from whatever time we have to do it. But the weekends, that's my time.
I mean, I think that just really goes to show that you are all in on every single aspect of your life, and then have the discipline to do so as well. And I think, yeah, to both of your guys' points, being able to take that break, being to go all in on all aspects of life, gives you the ability to step back and see what God's given you and the opportunities and the things you've been able to go through and achieve. Uh, to then, I guess, give you a little bit of motivation to keep going forward, but to also stay disciplined. I love those. So we'll go on to the next question. Um, Walk me through what you guys do with money once like you guys get paid. So do you guys go through invest it? What are you spending it on? Like what are you guys doing that right now?
I
You,
spend it all.
you want to know all of our secrets, huh?
All the secrets.
I'll leave you with this. Always make sure you're putting your money in investments, especially if you're young. Don't think that you need to, oh, later on, let me go spend it. Start investing now. Future you is going to thank you for that. Absolutely. So if you're making really good money, if you're doing these sales jobs, if you're getting the $20,000, $30,000 paychecks, make sure that you're putting some of it off and taking care of future you and your future family. And then yeah, have a little bit of fun with it, enjoy it, and put it in things that matter, assets, property, whatever that means to you. So that would be my input.
Love it.
Um, I'm a spender. Okay, I'm a spender, and I say this because I learned later on in life that you need to reward yourself for your efforts, for your hard work, for the success that God has bestowed upon you. A lot of the times we try to put ourselves last, where we need to be a little bit more selfish. And I, as you can see, I like to dress well. I like to, I like nice cars. I like fancy things, right? But I learned that if you're working towards something and you're achieving your goals and you're doing the things that you set yourself out to do, why not reward yourself? I had a circumstance happen, a year ago, where both my father-in-law and my wife's stepdad both died within 3 months of each other, unexpectedly. One went into the hospital because he wasn't feeling well, didn't come out, and the other had a heart attack, a massive heart attack. And these are two gentlemen that were, still, rather, young. They weren't, extremely old. My father-in-law was in his 60s, and the stepdad was like in 55 years old. So it wasn't like he was super old. But these were men that were working so hard to leave for tomorrow. For tomorrow, I'll reward myself tomorrow. I'll get my dream car tomorrow. I'll do my dream, trip with my family tomorrow. Tomorrow never came for them. And literally, that happening made me realize so many things that I was actually doing, that leaving for tomorrow. We'll take that trip tomorrow. That now I'm a yes man. Like, whatever you can say to me, if I'm able and willing, let's go. Like, I'm down. Like, forget about tomorrow, because literally, let's live for today. So that's why, hence, I have the cars I have. I live the life that I live. I know that for some people it's very fast, 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 but I like it that way. And again, when God tells me that it's time to slow down, or with age, that I slowed down. But right now, I feel great. I feel healthy. I feel young. I feel that I have literally more knowledge than ever before. And I remember telling you that at 42, 43, my mind shifted. And I remember hearing Tony Robbins say that a man's maturity is 43 to 63. Those are the 20 years where the man really produces the most success in his life. That's where you take companies public. That's where you go into the multi-million and billion-dollar stage. That's where like it goes into another level because the wisdom you have gained for those first 40 years of your life, if you've applied it correctly, you can really receive the fruit of that labor in those last 20 years of your hard work and striving. Let's say that I'm never going to retire because I don't see myself ever retiring. But I do myself, I can say at 60, 65, you can maybe chill a little bit and say, let me relax more, right? Let me not have to work as hard as I do today, all right? Hey, I may still be working as hard because I love what I do. And that's another thing. I'm passionate about it. I really believe that when God puts a dream in your heart and you strive for that, man, there's no days that you will look like it's hard. There will be hard days because of the challenges. But if every day you strive to looking forward to what you're doing because you're building something with purpose. And if you have a purpose-driven life, man, there's nothing better than that. And right now I feel that I'm walking in my purpose more than ever before. So I'm just as excited for life as I ever have been. So let's go.
I'm curious just because I think I've been taught and I feel like my beliefs more aligned like with Sophia's as well as like you should be investing like at least at our age growing up.
100%.
For you like living that lifestyle, like treating yourself, what do you feel like is that point you should be spending
So let me
more
let me
versus,
say
like,
something here
investing? Yeah.
because I didn't get a Rolex till I turned 40 years old. All right? And I could have gotten a Rolex 20 years prior, right? But I tell you this because I believe that there's levels that we should all achieve and there's character building. There's stages that I sometimes feel bad for these young kids that have gained wealth in their early 20s and are out there spending it like crazy and doing living la vida loca or whatever they're doing because I feel that there's certain stages in life that will help you appreciate that more, right? That will help you understand, you know, that driving a $400,000 car is not a normal thing. All right, that's literally left for literally the top 1% of the 1%. When you think about, there's only 40,000 exotic vehicles in the whole United States of America. All right, it's a precious thing, and I see all these little kids taking things for granted, right? And I really believe that stages in life gain maturity and wisdom, and that's when you can take certain steps. I didn't get a Rolex till I felt that, okay, I have enough assets that can pay for my liabilities, that I can buy the toys that I want because my assets pay for my cars. My assets pay for the dumb expenses that I do. My assets pay for a lot of the things that are, I call extracurricular things, right? And then obviously we have our residences, we have our rental properties, we have things that we've invested, you know, through years. We have our businesses, to me, which is the most valuable things that we own. But yes, your assets pay for your liabilities, not the other way around. Or don't try to keep up with the Joneses because I believe that there's so many people today that, oh, my buddy's driving a Lambo and I need to get a Lambo and let me go and get myself in debt or let me go rent a house with 5 of my buddies so we can say we live in a mansion and then we can all buy 3 cars and all share them between all of us. Like, listen, again, you're trying to skip levels where to me they're shortcuts. No, let go and let God guide your steps, and you will see that everything through life, you know, is again. Can there be quantum leaps? Yes, I've had quantum leaps in my life. I told you I went from $40,000 to $250,000 within 8 months. I mean, that's literally a quantum leap. That's gonna happen in life, and you can. What do you mean? You know, receive the blessing of that when that happens. But you should live life learning and building character as you live along because right now I'm 47 years old. I feel like I'm in my 20s still, right? Like I feel super young and I can hang with you young bucks anytime. You know, I always tell anybody, I'll go play ball, do whatever you want. You know, I really feel that as long as you're young at heart, man, you will live a long, prosperous life. It's all about attitude. But again, for the young guys that are listening to me, man, enjoy the process. Enjoy the process. Invest in assets that will pay for your liabilities and all your dumb shit. All right? Much love. God bless.
Well, sweet. For the rest of the 3 to 5 minutes that we do have, leave the time open to you to ask Luigi whatever question you want.
Of course, yeah. And I wanted to say too, I love how you're talking about spending kind of within your means, and you're talking about your family members that passed away. I'm Albanian, and I grew up with that same mentality, like save the money, hold on to it, like we gotta continue to put it underneath the mattress
Always.
type thing, and then someone passes away or something tragic happens in life, and you wish that you would have done more. So
Right.
I see both sides to that, being able to live fast and spend the money within within your
Yes.
means, and also kind of preparing yourself for the future, having that cushion, but to not allow that to be like a limiting mindset as well.
That's
Because
right.
I think that keeps you in a certain bracket and in a certain financial space where you're like not making more because you're trying to save, and you're always trying to save, but you're not, and then you're not living life. So a
Correct.
big thing for me is travel. So I guess I would
Yeah.
spend mine. You have your cars, you have your things. I'll spend it on travel. I love seeing new places. So that's my splurge, and it doesn't matter what the cost is. It's like, let's go, let's do it. So I really love that
One
you
hundred
said that.
percent, and it's not, it's like it's about removing a scarcity mindset too.
Yes,
You know,
shifting from that scarcity to abundance mindset is
100%.
crazy, and seeing it in past generations and different cultures. It's a big scarcity mindset because they didn't have anything.
They
And
didn't.
like today's day and age, it's like we're making money from our phones, from our
Correct.
fingertips.
Correct.
Hearing your story and stuff like that, it's crazy how much you can quantum leap and how much you can jump. And I think when you hear, your parents or your grandparents talk, they have a completely different mindset
Yes.
that can keep you in a certain bubble. So just jump out
100%.
of that. So, but I guess my question to you would be, if you had one piece of advice that you would give to someone like me, just continuing to make it in sales and grow my business and my brand, what would you give me?
I think that you're doing everything the right way. I believe that when you focus more on service, and on giving value, prosperity, success, the money comes automatically. It's a result. And I always tell everybody, that the money, I don't chase the money, and I never have. To be 100% honest, I saw people make money, and I said, okay, I want to make money, but I always wanted to be the best at giving the value and the service because I knew that I would actually make money regardless, right? But if I only focused on, oh, I got to close 3 deals and I got to get at least $3,500 or $4,000 on this deal, whatever. When I started, I remember like that's what most of the people were on the board, and they had their. My goals were just to let me serve people correctly, right? And I know that if I do that, I'm going to close. I'm going to close. And I just became a good closer by being a good listener and just serving the people. And that's why I would close 10, 15, 20 deals a month. When you start on a business, it's all about having faith in yourself. But again, focus on service. The money is a result. All these guys out there, the 20 million a year and all this stuff, great. But it's all about the value that you gave, and that's the result, right? So I don't focus on the money, focus on the service, and you're going to see that you're going to have all the money you ever want.
Yeah, the service brings it all. Thank you.
Yes, 100%.
Well, sweet. I think that wraps it up for our time. So I appreciate you guys being on. This has been an
I
absolute
appreciate
pleasure.
you, my brother. Thank you for coming. Anytime.
So much for having us. This was great.